Get dropped again. It is nearing the end of September. Unfortunately, we're at the time of year where it's massive harvest time. Nights this week have been in the mid 40s here, low 40s the other night here. All of my tropical plants had to come in. Unfortunately, I'm kind of behind with getting my greenhouse organized, so I had to take everything out, but at least get those plants in for night. I'll have to bring them back out to finish what I'm doing in the greenhouse to get things situated for winter. Now, this video is specifically about figs. So I have a number of fig trees. Back, maybe 10 years ago, I was getting quite a few figs on them per year. Before, when my dad was around, he used to build a fig house over top of each plant every year, and he would jam pack it full of leaves and things like that he would pack it with. And come spring, we already had shoots on the stems. And come the mid to end of summer, we would have some lovely figs. However, I have not been building a fig house because it's just not been in the cards for me in the last few years, especially with Pearl as a little toddler. She's busy and I'm busy, and I'm literally just strapped for time to get out here at all. That's why I'm doing a lot of permaculture situation. That being said, I've got like 4 fig trees, fig bush situations. This is one of them that was done maybe 8 years ago. It's under a huge giant oak tree, which you've also seen in many of my old videos. And it doesn't get nearly as much light as maybe it did, when I first transplanted it. I typically get some, let me see if there are any. I usually get some green figs that never finish. I don't even see any this. Oh, there's a couple here. Sorry, I've got my other stuff from the greenhouse out. So I get some of these guys like this, and I definitely don't have time for them to ripen. So what you can do with those is you can take them off and you can actually use them as a vegetable. You can freeze them, you can use them in stir fries and stuff like that. They're not going to be real sweet, but you can still use them. Don't waste them. Don't let them just go die on the tree. If you don't get figs, like I haven't been getting figs, you get a lot of beautiful leaves. And if you didn't know, fig leaves are quite nutritious for you. You can eat them. Some people eat them raw. I have not eaten them raw because at one point I heard that they were toxic in that way, and I just kind of have that implanted in my brain. But some people eat them raw, or you can cook with them. You can roll them, you can bake them, grill them, saute them, etc. There is a latex that grows, that flows inside these leaves. So when you pick the stem, you're going to see this little milky substance. You can use that on your skin for different conditions like eczema, warts, wounds, and things like that. You can use that somewhat as a wound dressing. Also, these are very tasty. They taste like coconut. So you can make a beautiful infusion of tea, or a decoction, I guess you would call it, for tea that has lots of anti-diabetic properties, has anti-cholesterol, like it's good for your blood, basically. It's good for cholesterol, it's good for fat, it's good for it's anti-tumor as well. It's full of calcium, iron, phosphorus, manganese, potassium, sodium, probably some other things that I'm missing. Vitamin A, I think it's high in, and it's quite tasty. So what I do is I take these, you can use them fresh. You can use them all year, actually. Like once they start in the spring and through the summer, you can use them. But at this point, I hate to let them all go to waste. So what I do is I pick them like this, and I tie them together with twine in batches of maybe 5 or 6, depending on how large the leaves are. And I let them dry, and I'll use that for tea throughout the winter. I have something on my face, pardon me. So I'll use them throughout the winter, and they're a very tasty and very nutritious tea. So if you get no figs on your tree, or you just get green figs, and you don't want to waste the tree and you still have it, these are very lovely, and you can still use them. Please don't let them go to waste. So right now it's harvest time. This is very important. Oh, I'm so glad you think so, Vicky. Where are you from, my dear? I'm in a hardiness zone 6 right now. So you know, we've had a really, really weird season. The summer started really late. The season, we had snow till like April. North Carolina, look at this. How funny is that? North Carolina hat I have on. You were destined to watch this video. Yeah, so we have had a very late starting season. The growing season was very kind of strange. We didn't have a lot of rain until now, and now it's very, very cold. And it's early. I was hoping that it would extend our growing season a little bit longer, but I don't see it happening. However, we may not get a nice warm spurt still. Hoping so. I did plant a bunch of my fall vegetables in my garden with the hope that all will be well, right? So anyways, yes, fig trees, please don't let them go to waste, even if they're not fruiting for you, or even if you're only going to get the green fruit. Don't waste the green fruit. They're quite tasty. They're beautiful. You can use them, you know, in pastas and things like that. They're lovely. Yep, just use them like a vegetable. And then these leaves, they're fantastic. And if you've never had fig leaf tea, try it. You're going to love it. It is very coconutty and tasty. It's not like some of the herbal teas that you make and they kind of, you know, taste like hay. You know they're good for you, but they kind of taste like, I don't know. But this is a very lovely, lovely tea, and you don't even need to sweeten it. But if you do, you know, use a little bit of honey, whatever, you're going to love it. All right, so I hope that was informative to more people than just Vicky. And do come back, make sure you subscribe, etc. Make sure you get my the notifications of new videos and things like that. I've been a little more sporadic lately in my postings, so you might want to get alerted instead of just having to check all the time. Okay, so be a champion in your garden, in your kitchen, whatever. Get out there and get homesteading if you can. I am in the city, as y'all have heard me talk about before. I'm an urban homesteader, so I am pretty much gardening. I don't want to say farming. I am gardening my entire property with edible and medicinal plants. Anything that's not working for me, I'm not working for it. So I'm trying to produce enough food and medicine for my family, of course, to last till the next season when spring hits and things start popping out of the ground again. So in the meantime, I have a lot of harvesting I still need to do. We are in the 40s, but I think we will heat up a little bit, you know, at least in the 50s and such, and I'll have a couple more weeks to get, you know, the rest of my herbs and the rest of my greens in. And I'm still succession planting and making sure that I have a fall and winter garden. I have a hoop house, 2 hoop houses I'm going to be working on this year, as well as gardening inside of my greenhouse. And of course, I'll bring some things in the house that are edible and medicinal that I can, you know, we can eat and use throughout the winter as well. So here we're going to have a very cold winter, as usual. I'm not looking forward to it. It's not my favorite season, but you just trudge through it and you make it happen, right? That's it. And that's where we're headed. Although I'm going to allow myself to enjoy fall. Usually I'm just in such a panicked state of getting the plants in and everything else. But since I had a problem with my greenhouse not being able to get into it, most of the winter it was frozen solid. I couldn't even get into that door. Frozen solid. Couldn't even get in till end of March, beginning of April this year. Couldn't even get in the damn door. So I had no trays started. I had no plants started other than what I've already got in the ground using permaculture. The polyculture situation, biodiversity has been a really big presence this year and has really brought me through. Like I said, I'm a believer in this system, but the proof was in the pudding this year when I didn't have a lot of chance to do a lot of gardening. So here I am. I hear my toddler acting crazy, so I'm going to go and help that situation. But be a champion in your garden, in your homestead, wherever you are. And we'll talk soon, okay? Bye, guys.